pause it, right? And then we could do that.
Okay, sure.
Version of the series, which is an edited version re-release of the original manga in English. So the original uncolored version, which are directly linked to Akira's scripts, says basically the same thing in that Goku got to keep his flesh while moving forward into the other world. This single scan alone proves that Goku is not a conceptual entity and should effectively embarrass thousands of fake scalers who lie about the manga and don't show these scans. In fact, if you skim through their post histories, you won't find these scans from the manga posted anywhere in any of their videos online.
First of all, he has to prove that the translation is actually accurate, because there's a lot of mistranslations that do happen in the original manga. Also, and so he has come still in flesh form to receive training. But this flesh form means his own physical body, or the body that is given to him in the afterlife. Because we know for a fact that when someone dies and they are done a heroic or a good deed, they remain with a physical body that allows them to interact with the afterlife instead of being a complete incorporeal soul. So yeah, this guy missed the entire narrative itself. So if you actually think that this is what the correct translation is, I would love for him to provide the proper translation for it. But he's not going to do it.
And then to make a point, like, we have more evidence to suggest like it's not his regular quote unquote physical body, given the fact that it's specifically like explained throughout the narrative that Goku has an age within the afterlife that was stated by multiple people within the manga and also in the anime. So that would give us good reasons in believing that Goku's isn't his actual physical body. Right.
Yeah.
We could take that to be like a quasi physical body given to him in the afterlife to be able to train. Right.
It's a special body that allows him to interact. It's a special body that allows him to interact with the afterlife, because the afterlife is not a physical place.
Right. And then under the hypothesis that the afterlife wasn't a physical place. Excuse me. Under the hypothesis that the afterlife was actually a physical space, then this would be unnecessary. Right. At all. Why would he need this special body given to him? Right, to be able to interact with the afterlife if the afterlife wasn't non-physical or anything besides physical. So then we would have a Bayesian case in favor of the hypothesis that he's just given a special body that's not actually physical. Boom.
Or anywhere in their community post, because it debunks their entire nonsense rhetoric with just one scan. There's also this weird notion that the realm of the other world is some sort of conceptual abstract beyond the concept of space and time place. But that is also untrue if you actually read the manga, as there are
King Kai, blah, 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 blah. King Kai had
normally there, all over the series.
Love Roblox? Earn Roblox.
Oh, no.
Yo, that's fine, bro. My friend.
The problem with scalers not showing these scans anywhere in their content is the same reason the scan of Goku retraining his physical body was excluded. They're just trying to trick you into thinking Goku and the other world are something they aren't. Remember, these scalers and other content creators on TikTok...
Oh my god, this guy yaps so much, bro.
Get to the scans. Dropping out and leaving out important data points that completely destroy their lives.
No, dead ass, bro.
Time is an essential part of the original main plot of the story of Dragon Ball. After Goku dies, and King Kai gives him a countdown of how many days are left for Goku to train before.
Okay, first of all, stop right there.
There's just a few references.
Let me go first. Look, so he's presupposing that King Kai, when he said days, that's in reference to quote unquote other world's temporal progression. Not true. He would need to prove that. He would need to bridge that gap, because when he says days, that could be in reference to the time within the temporal realm, aka the living realm, given the fact that there's a threat of Saiyans going to the Earth to kill his friends. It's going to be trivially the case that even if you're in a world without time, right? Suppose that there's like some logically possible state of affairs where it obtains that some Agent X is in a world with no time. It's still going to be the case that in another world, we would say World 2, that time is going to still flow. And then World 2 within this analogy is going to be in reference to the Saiyans coming to the Earth, right, within the temporal realm, right? So then there's going to be a threat there of the Saiyans within the temporal realm, and that's what he means by days, not in reference to Otherworld's time. So I'd like him to prove that when King Kai said days there, that's inherently reference to Otherworld's time, right? Why is days going to be anything that's even conceptually determinate when referring to time there? Like, why can't days be quantified in such a radically distinct way in the fictional narrative that it would even support what he's arguing for? Like, so many questions there that just fucking rips that dog shit argument in half.
from the actual manga that you will
Speaking
never
of which,
ever see on
I
any
actually
other
also get
channels.
my point.
And so,
Speaking of which,
Go ahead.
yeah, because speaking of which, first of all, he also still has to prove that the afterlife still has time within it, because he's still begging the question that time exists within the afterlife, and he's not proving that. That's something he still actually literally has to prove. And speaking of which, we have like multiple statements from King Kai, Supreme Kai, even the Daizenshu, all of them saying that the afterlife is a completely non-physical realm. Not only that, that's not the only thing, by the way. We also have a statement from the Super Exciting Guy, but then again, this guy completely discredits the Super Exciting Guy because apparently they were done by a fan manga. Let me actually just like a fan club, but let me actually put some context here. That fan club, its name is Caramel Mama, and they are actually named after Caramel Man, who is a character in Dr. Stomp. These people participated in the creation and the compilement of multiple Daizenshu guidebooks, so they are actually very reliable. And there's actual statements from within the guide itself say that it was data supervised by Akira Toriyama, the combat data. So if the combat data is supervised by Akira Toriyama himself, it logically falls also for the...
And then the Super Sighting, and I just want to point out the Super Sighting Guide is also licensed by Bird Studio, which is Toriyama's manga studio for Dragon Ball. So that gives more evidence for the guide being reliable in canon, right? And then the information that comes out of the Super Exciting Guide is also consistent with other guidebooks, such as the Daizenshu, which Toriyama implied within one of the introductions that he uses it in case he forgets things regarding the narrative, which would give plethora of reasons and believing the Super Exciting Guide is fucking canon.
He has come, still in his flesh form, to receive training in the original uncolored version. However, in the colored version, he says he gets to keep his physical body. Absolutely, Lord Yama's done it, and just in the past 100 million years.
Yeah, I'm just I'm going to go back.
Done it, and
sorry, could you stop here? Yeah, I'm going to go back specifically to the manga just and get the translation and tag everyone who actually participated here, just so I can prove this guy wrong. I'm definitely gonna do that later.
And I just want to point out for the scan, this was stated to be a rumor, right? So even supposing, we have the scan here. Even supposing such, it was literally stated to be a rumor. And this could be simply explained by the fact that that could just be for shock value for the narrative. And that's supported by the fact that, look, within the narrative, Goku is trying to see how long Snake Way is. So it could be the case that the author is trying to convey something easier for the readers to understand, right? Given the fact that the other world in itself is so hard to comprehend, right? Given all the background information regarding the data book, right? And then why would this rumor be true? Because it was stated to be a rumor. I read the whole fucking manga.
Yeah. It's stated to be a rumor. And by the way, the person himself who says it calls King Kai the god of the universe. We know for a fact that that's not true. There's other Kais beyond him, and there are others on the same level as him as well.
No, it's the funny thing. Like so many people come up on my live on TikTok saying they think that the Snake Waves has this. I tell them to scan that's a rumor, and they're like, that scan's fake. You guys never read Dragon Ball.
It literally says verbatim, it's just a legend.
Right. It does. Exactly. That's where I got the rumor from. But even then, look, guys, you guys don't understand. Let's grant all the statements. Let's say it's true that in the King Kai saga, all these people stated, yes, it's true that it was stated in the saga that the other world has time. Let's suppose that, Goku had a physical body here. All these statements are before the retcon statements of there being no time, right? In the Buu saga, which takes precedent after the Saiyan saga. So if you're debating someone, and if they bring up all these quote-unquote scans, there's something called the retcons in fiction. And it could be simply the case that the other world could have just been retcon after that to having no time, because all the statements regarding the other world having no time was after the past arcs where there was quote unquote statements that may imply there's space and time there, right? And that implies
there's actually a proper justification for that. There's actually a proper justification for that argument, because Akira Toriyama have actually made a lot of changes even mid creation. For example, when Trunks first arrives, this is actually not everyone knows, but he does actually mention the androids by name. He mentions Android 19 and Android 20. But then later on, because Toriyama's editor did not like the android's form, he decided to add the other two sets of androids later, which is Android 17 and 18. That's
Exactly.
why it ended up like this.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, even if we suppose all these past statements and all these past arcs that implies a quote-unquote otherworld has time, right? It's true. Let's suppose those are true. Those will be retconned later in the recontextualization in the Buu saga, where we have these timeless statements of the afterlife, which is also backed up by the Daizenshu.
Wait,
Exactly. Because that was early Otherworld. Most people don't realize that post Saiyan Saga was early fucking Dragon Ball, bro. Like,
yeah, exactly. Right? I mean, these statements,
There's a new argument I've been hearing, and this guy named Drunken made it. He's saying that the old Dragon Ball Z is not canon to Super, and he's saying Dragon Ball Z Kai is the new Dragon Ball Z, and I'm like, what?
is he retarded?
I'm like, wait, what? And then he says, all those statements are unreliable now.
Okay, hold on. To be fair, guys, Dragon Ball Z Kai does actually filter out a lot of unnecessary filler, and they do fix certain continuity issues and so on. But then again, it's not like it makes Z non-canon anymore. It does. Z is still canon, but it's just that Kai is more like the filtered out a lot of unnecessary fillers.
It's more enjoyable to watch for newer fans. That's all it is. I'm like what? Like, where does it ever state that Kai is the new Dragon Ball Z? And Kakarot, oh my god, disproves that. Kakarot disproves that.
Actually, there's a lot of topics to talk about in regards to this guy, but we'll just keep it to the afterlife for now.
Yeah, like, there's way more, like...
Because I still have to leave to eat, so I think I'm gonna leave you guys for a bit.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah, but all I'm saying is, I wish, like, Tron and Fred could be, like, on TikTok more and, like, make more videos, but you guys have lives, so it's like people get pleasure downplaying Dragon Ball. But
all right, let's get back to the video because we're wasting time. Right, Duarte, this statement right here, like all the statements of quote unquote 1 million kilometers is based off of the quote unquote legend, which we have no confirmation of being true or not. But even supposing the legend is true, all of that would be retcon in the Buu saga. It'll be irrelevant, right? Because we get contradicted statements later with the narrative that contradicts those prior statements. So then we would prefer the recontextualizations given ideological parsimony. Here we go.
Million years. Great. Next time she comes, can you tell her to tell Kami not to bring me back to life for another year? How much longer is this road gonna go on at this rate? The year will be gone before I even get to see the Lord of... Just teach me as much as you can in the time I've got. These Saiyan guys are coming to Earth to destroy it. I don't know how many days I spent running on the Serpent Road, but I don't think there are many left. But how much time do you have? I haven't eaten in 6 months and I'm starving. I never dared hope you'd master the Genki Dama Spirit Ball so quickly. The Saiyans will reach Earth tomorrow and the day of the battle has finally come. But that's still a day late. Earth will be destroyed. At your current speed, you'll make it in 2 days. I'll tell the Earth Lord to pick you up. I forgot to factor in the time it'd take you to go back on Serpent Road. So hurry, I'll be a little late. I'll do everything I can. Tomorrow already? That's more than a month sooner than we thought. Where is he? Slowly, agonizingly, 3 hours crawl past. People forget that it's even a plot point that while Goku was traveling Snake Way, the Saiyans were being held up and forced to wait for him to arrive. But of course, the traitor would also be a coward. 3 valuable hours wasted. Fetch him.
Oh, did I just lag out?
Fetch.
All right, so to address the points again, I mean, yeah, I would have the same questions here, right? What proof is there for the time there to be in reference specifically to Otherworld's time, right? Why can't the time being talked about, or the days, or the months, or the quote-unquote speed, be a quasi-referent for the readers to understand, but in reality, there's actually no time there? And then what about the temporal progression of the living room, right? And then what about the time where Goku arrives on the Earth from Master Roshi's sister, I forgot her name, but it's a girl who flies around on the ball and she's a old lady. But what about the time between her transporting Goku on Earth, right, to the specific area where he needs to be, to travel to the fight is being taken into account, right? Those would also need to be taken into account, right? And then also the retcon objections I brought up is still something that needs to be taken into account, right? This isn't strong at all.
Him, my lord, he's close on Snake Way, by the way. So funnily enough, Goku, racing back in dire need to get there in time to save his friends on Snake Way, flies and runs at top speed so fast that Kami and Popo and King Kai are immensely impressed with his speed factor until Goku gets back to the land of the living, flies by Korin to receive some sensu beans, and takes one for himself, giving himself back all the energy he lost on the trip. Goku summons Flying Nimbus immediately for the rest of the trip. In the most intensely stressful moment, Vegeta says his power level is 5,000 at this point, and that he would arrive in 4 minutes. This debunks the light speed Goku prior to the Saiyan saga, by the way. Light can travel around the Earth 7 times per second, but Goku wasn't able to traverse the Earth at 100% max speed faster than Nimbus would naturally take him on its own.
Okay, that's not true. Number one, Goku, within that specific instance, was nerfed. Number two, Goku was using the Flying Nimbus, so we don't have any evidence to suggest Goku was actually flying there via his own speed, so that's already debunked.
This is a serious hole in the rhetoric for DBZ scalers who are biased and...
Sorry, what he means to say here is not rhetoric, but argument. Hole in the argument, you dumb fuck. Rhetoric is not an argument. Rhetoric is how you convey terms that you're employing within your given dialogue, right? So what he means to fucking say, because this guy's special needs, is a hole in the argument, not rhetoric. This guy's retarded. More proof he's fucking stupid.
Think Goku was something he's not. If Goku prefers to use Nimbus' speed factor over his own immediately after regaining his full strength, that implies Nimbus